We start with the reaction from the nation's top office to North Korea's fourth nuclear test. President Park Geun and U.S. President Barack Obama reaffirmed their bilateral alliance and agreed to work together toward comprehensive UN sanctions against North Korea. For more, let's turn to our Song Ji-sun at the presidential office of Cheong Wa Dae. Ji-sun, we hear the two leaders talked about pushing for the strongest sanctions yet against North Korea.
Yes, Daniel, President Park Geun spoke with U.S. President Barack Obama this morning to discuss countermeasures and respond to the threats coming from North Korea. The phone call made by President Obama took place at 9:55 a.m. Thursday, Seoul time. During their 20-minute conversation, the two leaders, President Obama reiterated that North Korea's nuclear tests pose a threat to regional security and stressed that the U.S. will do everything necessary to ensure the security of its allies, including South Korea. The two leaders agreed that Pyongyang has violated its denuclearizing commitment with this latest nuclear test, both by going against UN resolutions barring the North from a nuclear test, and with the six-party talks, the multilateral dialogue aimed at denuclearizing Pyongyang that has been stalled since 2008. President Obama said Washington will seek the strongest and most comprehensive sanctions against Pyongyang at the UN, and said the U.S. would work closely with the South Korea to that end. The two leaders also vowed closer trilateral ties with Japan and acknowledged the need to collaborate further with China in dealing with the North Korea's nuclear issues. They also renewed their commitments to address the North Korean nuclear issue with the utmost urgency, as they had at their summit talks in October last year. Before hanging up, President Obama also expressed his support for the recent agreement on Japan's wartime sexual enslavement of South Korean women, and that the agreement will strengthen the allies' efforts to counter North Korea's nuclear threats. President Park also spoke on the phone with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe this afternoon for about 15 minutes just before 5 p.m. But details on that conversation are yet to be released. I'm Song Ji-sun reporting live from the president's office of Cheong Wa Dae.
All right, thank you for that, Ji-sun. And this just in, following another National Security Council meeting this afternoon, the South Korean government has announced it will resume its loudspeaker propaganda broadcasts on the inter-Korean border starting at noon on Friday.